for the
Yes.
IDA
Okay.
making a mistake.
We'll call a meeting in order.
Yes.
We have finances.
We'll call a meeting in order. We have a quorum. Reading and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Discussion, additions, corrections. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do you have a question? Thank you. Carried. Bills, communications.
Everyone, I'm filling in for Tracy today. Bills this month were just the standard ones. We had Revelis, MRB Group, CNS, QuickBooks, NYSEG, and the credit card. You'll also see there was a payment in the packet, which was to the Empire State Development. This was for grant processing. We also received, hopefully, the final bill for NYSEG from the industrial park this week. That should be the last one for this service, but we're going to start up new bills from NYSEG for the new office space, so you'll still see those every month. And then last thing here is that you'll also see we received reimbursement of $800. This was for Michael's time participating in the agriculture grant program. And that's it.
Thank you. Your motion.
I move we approve the treasury report.
Second. Yeah.
Motion made and seconded. Questions on the bills? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried. Budget report.
That would be me, Michael.
No. This is the monthly budget report. So Grace.
you're all.
No, we'll get that later.
Thank you. Okay, so on the budget, for revenue, you'll see that we received a $500 application fee. This was from the Sterling Station project. We also got the legal retainer, which was already dispersed to Harris Beach. We also had really strong interest earnings in September. It was nearly $10,000. And then under services, on the services line, there's $800. That's the reimbursement for Michael's time on the ag grant program. And then the year-to-date services includes the anticipated $12,500 reimbursement from Cayuga County for the SBDC contract. Under expenses, Tracy wanted to note that the marketing line, it's line 60930. That's been corrected to $2,000. When she did this report, it picked up both the bill and the check for the second Locate Finger Lakes installment as separate transactions, so she's fixed that. The line 62890 for rent, parking and utilities. That includes the $3,200 for the security deposit and for first month's rent. Moving forward, that's just going to include $1,600 for rent and then any utilities that are related to the office. And then, like we talked about earlier, the line 70170, the industrial park electric, that should hopefully be going away after October. So you won't see that anymore. And then on the balance sheet, just a couple of receivables to highlight are the land sale to CMI. We received a couple of pilot payments from Johnston Paper, Dunkovit, and Inns of Aurora. And then we have the ESD and EDA grants.
Pilot disbursements.
Yes. So Grace, go ahead if you want to speak to that.
Sure, yeah, those are all set up to be approved. They should be going to the Union Springs schools. Those are from Dunkovit and Johnston Paper. And then the Inns of Aurora one is set up to go to Southern Cayuga School District and the Village of Aurora.
And are we done with pilot payments? Receipt of payment?
There's two additional clients that we're waiting on. That's H Trucking and whom else?
EGMOB, yeah.
Yes.
are they past due?
Let me take a look, because their payment must be received within 30 days of notice, and then from there, we could apply a late fee penalty against that.
Yeah.
We do not incur any fees ourselves unless we hold on to the money once it's received for more than 30 days.
Yeah, it looks like they were invoiced for these on the 18th of September.
So we
Tomorrow.
can get on the phone with them tomorrow and tell them, once you get those in, we're going to assess a late penalty fee.
Thank you, Mike.
Motion to approve the treasurer.
I move with approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Authorizing resolution.
I'm waiting.
Sure.
Did we end up getting the $1 million check from Justin for that?
Yes, we have worked, Justin and his team in particular, and certainly Rick, quite a lot over the last month to get everything set up, between the sale of land to Cayuga Milk Ingredients, in addition to closing on the pilot with Dunkovic. Part of that whole process was a transaction of land between Dunkovic and Cayuga Milk Ingredients. We've gotten past through the 90-day period. And for all I know, the monies have hit our account as of today. This week was the planned closing.
Thank you, Mike.
Mhm.
Authorizing resolution.
Okay, so just a quick recap before we get into the mix
Thank you.
here. We do have representatives from the company on
Wait a
the
minute,
line.
Mike, do we need Grace? Continue? No.
Thank you, Grace.
Who wants to stay?
All right.
Once more, we do have representatives from the project here. This is for the small scale 2 megawatt solar PV project up in Sterling, covering a tract of roughly 33 acres. Over the last month, we have worked with the company and setting forth the terms and conditions for benefits contemplated for the project at hand. We did hold the public hearing this morning up in Sterling Station. Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for attending. There were no public attendees at that time. We have also not received any written comments about the project as of now. So what you do have, or as a separate handout here, is the project authorizing resolution. I'm not sure if any of the board members had any questions before we took up the resolution itself.
This gentleman isn't from those.
No,
No,
guy in the screen.
They're not really here. They're only on the screen.
yes,
I believe the benefit to the community for that project is a reduction in their electric bill. Is that correct?
That's correct. For anybody that chooses to subscribe to the power offtake, they would just have to be in the RGE territory and choose to sign up.
And how much, what reduction is there?
Typically, it's a 10% on their utility bill.
Not typically, what
Yeah.
is reduction?
Well, it depends on their classification of how much power they're willing to sign up for. A commercial customer is different than a residential customer, so that's why I gave a range. Typical a residential customer, 10%.
A commercial customer can be eligible?
Correct.
There's a different rate between commercial customers and residential customers?
There can be a different level of discount depending on the power they're consuming and their commitment to how long they would subscribe. A residential consumer doesn't have a long-term commitment, but those are 10%.
Did he say that the residential
10.
would be, the residential would be 10%, right?
Correct. For those who choose to participate, because it isn't forced.
Yeah, I understand you have to sign up and be, okay. The other thing I want to question, the life of these projects are approximately 20 years, is that not correct?
25 would be our base life.
Oh, okay. You have to bond for being able to dismantle that at the end of its life's use, is that right?
That's correct.
And you have done that, and how much bond did you post to accomplish that?
I will pull up that amount, but we have not posted the bond yet as a requirement of our approval by the town. So we would do that with our building permit. I'll pull up the amount though, if you give me a moment. We had an engineered cost estimate prepared for the removal of the system that the town agreed to as part of our approval process. And we'd be posting a bond in that amount, and it would escalate each year to keep up with inflation. And that would always be accessible to the town should the system need to be decommissioned.
You don't know right off what the bond would be initially.
I'll pull it up. I just want to make sure I'm accurate with that.
Okay.
And George, if you happen to know, feel free to weigh in on that. Otherwise, I'm looking it up.
I have that here. The decom bond. Well, the decommissioning amount is 221,000. Is the amount of the decommissioning work.
So there would be a bond in place for $244,311 to start. That'll be for an initial 5-year period, and then it'll be renewed from there. We have every year we will renew that bond with the inflation rate. The 2% escalator that we agreed to with the town.
The town has to approve of that, or?
They already have. So we submitted as part of our consideration with our site plan approval, and we worked through that with the town, and George had gotten that approved by the town.
Okay. Thank you. Those were my questions.
How many acres?
Thank you.
33.
That's the parcel size. One moment, I'll get you the acreage of the actual project. So large file just loading, one moment. So the actual array envelope will be 8.4 acres of that 33-acre parcel.
Is it on farmland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I don't.
No,
All right.
Donna?
No, sir.
Okay. Without any further questions, we'll now read the resolution here. Resolution of the Cayuga County IDA, 1, appointing New York USLE Sterling Station Road LLC for itself and or on behalf of an entity or entities to be formed as its agent to undertake a certain project. 2, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agent agreement, lease agreement, leaseback agreement, pilot agreement, and related documents with respect to the project. 3, authorizing the provision of certain financial assistance to the company. 4, adopting findings with respect to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And 5, authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the project.
Is there a motion?
I'll move.
There's a second.
Again.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Yep.
Okay. We'll now take up a roll call vote. Project, Mr. Lockwood.
Yep.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mr. Latinishon,
Yes.
Mr. Shea is absent. Miss Adams,
Yes.
Miss Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Rindfleisch.
Yes.
All voting aye, is present, 1 absent. It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will be in contact.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you so much.
Bob?
Okay. Moving on to our next item on the board agenda here. Once more, I'd like to introduce Bob Griffin, the Regional Director of the North Central Small Business Development Council here. He has prepared a presentation for the board You do have a handout within your packet, but I should be able to speak to the presentation here. Bob, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me back. I think it was about a year ago that I came before this group to kind of talk about what we've been doing in Cayuga County, and wanted to really kind of provide an update on some of our activities and the impacts that we're having. We can go to the next slide. And thanks for driving. I appreciate that. I'd like to start off by talking about a couple of success stories, and we'll go to the first one. Some of you might know Robin from At Long Last. We worked with Robin starting in about 2022, late 2022, early 2023, as she was going through the process of, finding a place. She wanted to set up her own restaurant. She's been been in the restaurant business for, over 20 years. She'd actually been working over at the Sherwood Inn. And we worked very carefully with her through this process, got her access to capital through a couple of loan products that she was able to secure to be able to open that restaurant. She worked with Kelly Green, who at the time was our business advisor here in Cayuga County. If you've been over there, she's a very creative, very well thought out entrepreneur when it comes to owning and operating a restaurant. Inventive in terms of her menu, very responsive to the customers, and has really built something pretty special over there. And so we were proud to recognize her earlier this year as our Cayuga County Small Business of the Year for 2025. The next slide. Some of you might know Matt. Matt started working with Nancy Ansteth probably about 8 or 9 years ago. Nancy was a longtime business advisor with the Small Business Development Center. We worked with Matt as he was kind of navigate his passion for coffee. He'd been kind of pushed by his parents into grinding his own and experimenting and, getting out there. And then he also connected with another small business out of Cortland that operates similar kind of freestanding coffee kiosks out there. So Nancy worked with Matt, kind of design his business model, figure out how he was going to be able to launch his first kiosk. Then he came back to us again as he was working to launch his second kiosk. And he's gotten so good at this, he doesn't really need us much anymore. He did manage to get some additional financing to help him when he opened up his Roast and Toast location in downtown Auburn. And we continue to have conversations with Matt about some possible future activities that he may be getting into. But Matt was recognized by the U.S. Small Business Administration Upstate New York District as the Rural Entrepreneur of the Year for 2025. We continue to try to support these entrepreneurs. These are just a couple of success stories. I've got a list a mile long of others that we've been working with. One of the things we were pretty bad at, I think, prior to 2022 was telling the stories of our clients. I think we've gotten better at doing that because there's a lot of them. And, I throw some numbers in the handout. We'll get to numbers in a minute. But if we can go to the next slide. For those of you that weren't here for my presentation last year, and to kind of put a bow around what it is that we're doing, we provide no cost confidential advisement to existing and aspiring entrepreneurs. And I just want to key in on that, existing and aspiring entrepreneurs. So not just startups. We work with existing businesses all the time. We need to be doing more work around helping existing businesses because they face more challenges today than they ever have. So it doesn't matter whether they've just got an idea and they need us at the beginning, or whether they're looking to transition out of their business and they want to help sell it, or they want to transition it to a family member, or whatever it is that they want to do, whether they're trying to grow. We're here to help them at every step of the way. And it can be marketing, it could be HR, access to capital, it could be, operational strategies. We've got tools and resources that we can bring to bear. The key thing I want people to understand about what we do, we don't do the work for them. What we do is we provide them information, guidance, resources, information, tools to help them make informed decisions and take informed action, so that they are the ones that are actually doing the work. We're just there as their partners. They go through their entrepreneurial journey. Go to the next slide, please. To kind of make sure everybody remembers exactly how this kind of operates, because it is convoluted, let me tell you. Being a director of one of these centers is kind of an interesting experience. So we're funded by a grant from the U.S. Small Business Administration. That grant actually is administered by the State University of New York out of Albany. And we are a sub-awardee to that grant. I'm based at Onondaga Community College, and that's where the center is hosted. What's interesting about our relationship is we also have Jefferson Community College up in Watertown that is also a co-host for our program. It's the most unique hosting arrangement of any SBDC in the state of New York, and arguably one of the most unique relationships in the country, in that there are two companion community colleges that are working to host this program here in our region. Basically, those two host institutions put in a measure of cash that we have to match against that federal grant in order to operate and provide the services that we do. Admittedly, the cash that those two institutions put in isn't enough. We are continually struggling to try to make sure that we have enough cash to match what the federal award can provide for us. And we're always kind of at risk of losing some of those federal dollars if we can't come up with that match. But we're working together, we're making it happen so far, and the contributions from our local partners have been instrumental in helping make that a reality. And that includes the $25,000 ask that we have currently outstanding for Cayuga County to help us out for 2026 as well. Next slide, please. So we are part of a network. Again, we're one of 20 centers in the state of New York. We cover every single corner of the entire state. There's 140 business advisors in the state of New York. So if somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I need an expert in underwater basket weaving, I can reach out to one of those other centers and say, hey, do you have an expert in underwater basket weaving? And chances are somebody's dealt with an entrepreneur that's tried to launch a business like that. We get some pretty crazy ideas, let me tell you. And so we have a lot of other partners that we can collaborate with to help entrepreneurs. I have a pretty good staff. We have a lot of knowledge and experience. I'll show you their photos here in a few minutes. But there's expertise out there that we don't have. And so we try to leverage those resources as much as possible. We've got a government procurement specialist at our Mohawk Valley sister center at Utica, in Utica. She's actually a statewide resource. So if we have somebody that's looking to do business with the federal, state, or local governments, she's an expert in that area. We have a technology specialist out of our Binghamton University SBDC who can help folks with SBIR, STTR applications, something we're not particularly skilled at, but we can still support and collaborate with that advisor to help that client no matter where they are. There's also other promotion, specialty programs across the state. One of the things that is one of our signature offers to our clients is we have a group of librarians out of Albany. Their sole function is to provide research for our clients. And we are actually the #1 center in the state for leveraging that resource. We do a lot of research to help our clients, again, with informed decisions, informed action. Next slide, please. This is kind of where we live. Again, market research, industry research, knowledge, data that helps inform decision-making. That's really what we tend to focus on. We also do a lot in the 360-degree financial review space. So if there's an existing business that is looking to grow, expand, or maybe they're in trouble, we can do an analysis of their business, compare it against peer businesses in their sector, and give them some guidance on this is what others are doing. This is what your financial picture should look like. Here are some sound recommendations for you going forward to help your business either grow, expand, or if you're in trouble, correct some things to become more profitable, more effective, more efficient, whatever. We also do a lot in the financial projection space, particularly for people who are looking for access to capital, SBA lending. It could be lending through IDAs, CDCs, other organizations that may be providing access to capital. We help in a lot in that space. We're known as a startup factory to some extent, which I think is a little bit unfair. So we do a lot on the business planning side as well. About 80% of our clients are startups. The remaining 20% tend to be existing businesses. And then we do a lot around regulatory compliance, lender preparedness, and so on. Next slide. And there's a bunch of other stuff that we do. And this is by no means comprehensive, but this tends to be, again, we kind of touch on all aspects of being a trusted advisor to existing and aspiring entrepreneurs in whatever capacity they need our help with. So this is our team. What's really cool about this is there's about 300 years of small business ownership, management, and leadership experience on that screen. And actually, we just filled an open position. He just started this week, and we now brings us to a staff of 12, 10 business advisors, myself, and a coordinator. And we cover pretty substantial territory. I'll show you that map in a minute. But there's very little industry overlap with these individuals. We've tried to be very strategic in our hiring practices to make sure that we've got really good depth in terms of our industry coverage. We got a little manufacturing, we've got energy, we've got hospitality, we've got HR, we've got marketing, we've got international trade. So there's a lot of strength on this team. We've got ag. Neil Miller has been in the ag sector for 25 years. So we've got a lot of good depth in terms of what we can bring to the party right here within our own regional center. And that's our territory. So we expanded in May of 2023. The state director of the New York SBDC, Sonia Smith, based in Albany, requested that our center take over operations of the Watertown regional office, which had some operational challenges. It also was an opportunity for us to combine forces with Jefferson Community College to support the Watertown area. So we now exclusively serve those 6 counties in white. Anybody within those 6 counties is typically referred to our office. We have our major office on the campus of Onondaga Community College and a major outreach office in downtown Watertown at the Nest, which is a brand new incubator co-work space that was set up by Jefferson Community College along with Empire State Development. We have satellite offices across the 8 counties that we serve. We are probably the most aggressive of all the centers in New York State in terms of bringing people out into the communities. Very rarely do you have it where you've got a business advisor like Michelle Barron here in Cayuga County who spends 4 days a week in Auburn. She's only 1 day a week in Syracuse. She spends 4 days a week out here. And we'll typically move her around also to Seneca County and Cortland County, but most of her time is spent here in Cayuga. We've got an advisory board. We put this together in the fall of 2023 because I needed smarter people than me to help me kind of look at us strategically. How are we positioned, the work that we're doing? We've got representation from all 8 counties that we serve, as well as private sector businesses. We've got lending institutions, academic institutions that we meet on a quarterly basis. And we talk about how do we become more effective, more efficient, better delivering the services and making sure that we're not missing something. And so we rely on those folks to help us with that. We've been at this for 40 years, which is a long time. Most people don't really understand that about us. And in that time, and this is not adjusted for inflation, we've documented over $700 million of economic investment by small businesses back into the community. And that is lending, private equity, private investment, grants, family, friends, whatever, been invested into these small businesses since 1984 that we've worked with. I'm just talking about our center. And, statewide, it's a much, much larger number than that. Over 60,000 clients served, over 450,000 hours of advisement have been provided. And one thing I'm most proud of is over 4,500 new business starts that we have documented in that 40-year period, which is a huge impact. We are the single most successful entrepreneurial development program in the history of the world on a national level. No entrepreneurial organization has ever done the kinds of things the SBDC has done on a national level. And we remain the most effective entrepreneurial development program in central New York and the North Country today. I kind of like to put a heat map up there just to kind of show the distribution of the clients served. As one would expect, Onondaga County remains, the most active county that we work with. There's also a lot of competition in Onondaga County for the services that we provide, which is fine because they aren't out here serving you folks. There is no other technical assistance service provider currently providing services in Cayuga County or Seneca County or Cortland County or Madison County or Oswego County. We're it. We are also the only ones in Jefferson and Lewis County. And that's okay. We understand that there's need out there, and that's why we've been very intentional about our presence in our local communities. In terms of just some broad-based metrics, we continue to be one of the busiest centers in New York State, and that's including our friends downstate. We are second only behind the Pace University Center at Manhattan in terms of clients served. They served about 1,600 clients this year. We were right behind them. Our numbers are down a little bit because of a definition change by the U.S. Small Business Administration in terms of what constitutes a client. Prior to last year, their definition was if you provided substantive counseling, which could be a 10-minute phone call. If that's all they needed, it was 10 minutes of your time, we could count that as a client. They changed the definition and they said you have to meet with them for at least 30 minutes. So as a result of that, all of those 10-minute phone calls that we might have had or 20-minute phone calls or whatever didn't count anymore. So our client served number did decline a little bit, but the number of inquiries we took in this year actually went up. Almost 950 people reached out to us for assistance this year, of which 706 of them ended up becoming clients. I'm most proud of not just the $22 million to almost $23 million of economic investment. I'm most proud of the new business starts number at 122. Actually, we just got some updates. So we have to update our data for the SBA on a quarterly basis. They're literally in the process of doing that now. And I got a notification a little while ago that our new business start number is actually about 151 because we got some new data that processed, and that blows away everybody in the state. We are #1 in the state for new business starts.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, we're very, very pleased about that. So specifically within Cayuga County, you know, and just kind of going a little bit back in time, prior to my arrival in March of 2022, we did not have a regular routine presence in Cayuga County. That was a gap that I sought to fill. I worked closely with what was in CCIDA at the time to improve that presence, to improve a referral process. And you'll see that what began happening in later 2022, 2023, those numbers went up, right? Number of clients served went up dramatically from prior years. When you see that CCIDA dissolved, that number went down all of a sudden. What has happened since then is in lieu of a one-stop, most folks are ending up coming to us. And we are serving now as kind of that point of contact and then referring people back out to IDA or whichever organization they need support from in order to be able to advance their business needs. It's not a role that we necessarily sought to fill. It's one that we kind of have filled a little bit by default. And we're happy to continue filling that role if that's what's best for Cayuga County. And I give Michelle Barron a lot of credit. She spent a lot of time really trying to maintain contact with all the various organizations in the county to make sure that they know that we're available to help if anybody needs it. So as we kind of wrap up, just kind of some strategic things that are going on. We are spending a lot of time on educational programming. We're developing an online self-paced certificate in entrepreneurship program, really designed to provide an educational experience for people who can't come to Syracuse to do one of our in-person trainings or who can't come to Auburn for one of our in-person trainings. So we're trying to get that rolled out, hopefully in Q1, Q2. We're also preparing for the Micron moment. What does that mean for us? Listen, Micron's not calling me. They don't need me. Most of the tier 1 suppliers Micron's going to deal with, they don't need us either, right? What's going to happen is we're going to deal with the ripple effects. People that are going to start accommodation and food service businesses, people that are going to start professional scientific oriented businesses, healthcare, social service businesses. Those are the 3 big sectors that are going to see growth after Micron begins actually operating. And so we're preparing for that. you know, from a capacity perspective, we're expecting to be much busier, probably in about 3 years. It's gonna take a while, but we're ready for it. My team is ready for it, and we're continuing to see, you know, a lot of activity in terms of interest, phone calls, and so on, and seeing a lot more energy in that area. Fort Drum is another area that we are spending a lot of time on. There's some new initiatives through Empire State Development called Next Move New York that is intended to encourage folks from Fort Drum to remain in the area, whether it's the North Country or Central New York. And we're working with them directly on funneling people into entrepreneurship opportunities. Primarily not just starting businesses, but also identifying businesses that they can acquire. And in that way, keep businesses that already exist as opposed to letting them close. So we're working very closely now with Next Move and Fort Drum on building out a program designed specifically for that. And then community engagement, opportunities like this, really just to update folks on what we're up to and how we're here to help. Also to get feedback. You know, what are the needs? How can we continue to provide services that are needed in those communities? Are we missing something? I think that's a valid question for us to ask. And so that's why I come here for these experiences, really just to kind of give you all an update and then see how we can continue to help. And I think that's my last slide, Mike. It is.
Well, those are some great slides.
Thank you.
That's great information.
I have a question for you. So on the flip side of what you do, I'm in commercial real estate and deal with businesses. And a lot of times I meet with businesses who are looking to potentially sell and they don't want people to know they're going to sell because they don't want to lose their customers and so on. But if there was a business, for example, that was available that I knew of, would you be able to, if I reached out to your group, would you be able to say, oh, you know, we're dealing with so-and-so that might be interested in something like this because they want to start up a new business? Again, if I'm, you know, like it's not out there, right? Because I'm just trying to quietly sell this property and help the small business. So do you do that, like the opposite of that? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, we deal with succession
Yeah.
planning all the time.
Not even so much a referral, like almost connecting the two, right? Like I have somebody who wants to sell their business. It's kind of on the QT, but they really, and they don't have someone that they're gonna hand it down to in their family.
Right.
So, but if we reached out to you and said, hey, you know, do you have somebody who's interested in opening a restaurant or a small bar? That would be something we could do?
Yes.
Okay.
The first thing I would ask that existing business owner, please become a client. The mindset, and this is one of the things I'm really trying to change. This mindset that you're going to lose your customers if all of a sudden people know your business is for sale is, first of all, it's antiquated. It's very hard to sell a business if you're not telling people.
But also they don't want to lose their employees.
Yeah.
It's not just the customers.
Part of it. I think there are ways to handle that. And I'm actually working with a couple of business owners specifically on how do you talk about transitioning your business so that you keep the business going. It's not about the end of the business. It's about how do you manage a successful transition. And there are some strategies that we have that can help people do that and to do so in a way that is thoughtful and managed and keeps everybody kind of together. So that the employees aren't worried about it because they know there's a plan. Most of the time, the employees know.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time they know.
They have an idea, yeah.
Yeah. And you eliminate the mystery by having a thoughtful approach to it. And we can help them.
Is there a fee for them to do this? Okay.
No, we are at no cost. In terms of our advisement solutions, it's no cost to anybody who is a New York State resident, New York State business, or anybody who's looking to locate a business in New York
And it's
State.
all confidential.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can you leave some cards?
You know what? I
didn't bring any.
didn't bring any, I'm so sorry.
Mike-
But Mike has my contact.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great question, though. I'm glad you brought it up. And,
No, it's
you
good to know.
please send them to us.
Especially, you know, smaller mom and pop type businesses that have been in business for years. It's a challenge for them to figure out what the next step is.
Yes, it is. And they're terrified of the conversation because they don't understand the concept.
Right.
And we can help them with that. And it's a difficult conversation.
Thank you.
Okay. Who is your representative in Ontario County?
In Ontario County, So that is covered by the Brockport Small Business Development Center. It's actually just gone through a rebranding. They're now called the Finger Lakes Small Business Development Center. And if you need a direct connection to them, I'd be happy to get that for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Griffin, that's great information.
Thank
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Is really the basis for the presentation, the ask for the funding. I know you've shared great information, but that's it. And specific to that, realizing that the service area includes several of counties, and I know we highlighted Onondaga as one of the ones, your top utilizer of your service. I'd be quite interested in knowing just what have they contributed towards it? I mean, I saw that we were ranked number 5 in utilization of your organization. And so having Onondaga be number 1, as well as, the others in between, what are they contributing? What have they committed to?
Well, Onondaga Community College puts in a substantial amount of money to support the program, not only, just direct funding, but also in terms of infrastructure support. I have an office space that probably could go for $140,000 a year that they give to me for nothing. Jefferson Community College also puts in a substantial amount of money, and we do have funding from just about every other county. Madison County is not able to contribute right now. Cortland County we're still working on, but all of the other counties in some form or fashion have been contributing to our program for 2025. My goal, and I've told this to Mike as well as anybody else who wants to listen, my goal is to not rely on local funding any longer than I absolutely have to. The problem isn't the local situation. The problem is the state of New York. We've been underfunded by New York State for the last 7 or 8 years, actually almost 9 years now. They took away about $2 million of funding for SBDCs and never restored it. The only funding from the state for SBDC comes through SUNY. And for whatever reason, we can't get New York State to budge on this. And I could theorize all day long and speculate and whatever about who's blocking that. Because there is an organization that is blocking it. But what we need to have happen is New York State needs to identify a source of funding that will help take the local burden off. Just like they do in other states like Michigan. Michigan is one state where they've done the model the right way. Their state funds all of the match that they need in order to be able to operate. What New York has done is they've made it a local problem. And so that's why I have to go out and have conversations and say, hey, I could use a hand. And to kind of put a fine point on it, the $25,000 ask that we put out there for Cayuga County really is about the deliverable. It's about making sure that I have an advisor that I can put out here into the field, right? And so my commitment has always been, here's how much I'm, a minimum that will put a person here in Cayuga County and the number of minimum in-person training events that we're going to do here as a result of that. That investment, by the way, I get 2 for 1 on. So $2 of federal money per dollar of cash contributed to the program. So that 25,000 becomes 75,000, which is, I think, a pretty good return on the investment. And I think, just evidenced by the clients served, and the amount of work that we've done here, I think it's a pretty good value.
No, the results are great.
Thank you. Yeah, we do a lot of good work out there. So, but thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, could you send us the slides?
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah,
You- you
Mike,
have-
Yeah.
do you want them as a PDF? I can
If
send,
you could,
I can do that.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll send them as a PDF.
Some great information.
Mike,
Thank you.
got somebody?
That's Steve Mayer, he's Justin Miller's
Thank
colleague.
you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you,
This
Susan.
is Justin.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Have a great evening.
John, why don't we finish off new business with your budget?
Oh, perfect.
Then we'll get that column out of the way, then we'll jump back to Mike.
Okay, so the budget. The committee met before this meeting. We went over the proposed 2026 budget. Everybody should have that in your, in your packet, or Mike might have sent it
I'd
out.
say it should be starting on page 36.
36, okay. All right, if everybody is there, so as I said, we went over the budget. We went line by line. You'll notice some changes. Mr. Marshall pointed out the deficit that we will be incurring this year. And that is completely driven by us not meeting our goal of 8.6 million in revenue this year. And most of that explanation, in fact, all of that explanation is due to timing of projects when the projects get completed and or if the projects are completed. Mike noted that there is one project that was pulled back and will not be completed, and therefore we will not be paid for that. So Finger Lakes Railroad, we are in a different setup with them. And so we believe for next year, instead of 5,000, we should be making, or we should receive about 16,000. Small project fees, we did not put anything in there, and we have not collected anything for this year. And just a reminder, small projects are 500,000 or less. And we have not done any of those this year. Project fees, that's the biggie. Year to date, 722,000 versus what we projected would be 8.5 million. The bad news is we didn't get it this year. The good news is that Mike is projecting we get most of that next year, which will be the 5.2 million. And
But there's still some loss there.
there is loss, and that is one of the projects is not going to be done. So we won't be collecting all of that 8.85 that we projected for this year. Yeah, good question. And Herbert,
But are you anticipating any additional new projects?
Yeah, so the bulk of what we had budgeted for last year as well as next year are contingent really on our large scale renewable projects and
Right.
the timing of those. One of which in particular has been really subject to state approval, so that's been pushed out. And we do have, as you just made note of, we have projects coming in and dropping off at the
Right.
same time. So what I have in the budget for next year is what I felt comfortable to say we can at least count on this, and in one circumstance, part of this, as we may break up how we collect fees, similar to what we did with the Sunny projects of realizing a partial closing and then a closing at a later date.
The federal and the state funding of the solar projects has changed a bit. Do you anticipate those slowing down or no?
It's, as one of the project developers said, it would take an act of God for them not to move the project forward. They've spent far too much time and money on it, and they themselves are too large to really, pull out at this point. So,
Right.
and I did have a very frank conversation with them about that, their anticipated timeline, their anticipated, costs of the project, to feel comfortable enough to put this into the budget. So I had a similar conversation last year, but
Right.
then things spun out of control as tariffs set in earlier this year.
Yeah.
And they hit pause on the entire project.
What do you see in the ensuing years? Is it gonna slow down or keep up? And then
For
those are
renewable,
unfair.
I think
Yeah.
there's still tremendous money at play here and incentives that are still in motion. So while there's a bit of a rocky road at the moment due to our
Yeah.
tariff environment and the current administration's view on that, the most important thing is energy right now, and however we can get it is going to continue moving these projects ahead because these renewable projects in particular can be deployed much, much faster than NICEAG or G&E being able to scale up. So as we've had a lot of conversations with some larger project developers and talking about what their power requirements are, a lot of the thinking has been, do we do on-site power rather than looking to get connected over the next 3 to 5 years? Let's see if we can get power just on-site behind the meter. So to your question, no, I don't see a slowdown in this.
All right. I mean, and I know those are kind of unanswerable questions, so I appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, and I'll go into it later, but the state itself had an energy summit last year, and at the beginning of October, had a nuclear summit. And it was all prefaced around, we're doing a lot of renewables, and we still can't get there as fast as we can. We're also looking at nuclear as well.
Well, these data centers, this AI stuff, huge energy.
That's another very large variable. You have to know.
I do. I have a couple minutes.
Okay. Want to be mindful of your time.
Okay.
Not, you gotta speed up.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Funny.
Investments, so you'll see we're budgeting 80,000 for next year. We look to end the year this year at 91,000, but rates are going down, so we will not be getting as much interest. A gain on disposal of assets, that is the sale of the land, that will not reoccur again. Grand income, also at this point, we're not budgeting anything. So for next year for income, we are budgeting a 5.3 million. If everything hits the way it should come in. As far as expenses, no real difference from this year to next year. Marketing, we're doing the 4,000. That is that locate FLX that we are sponsoring, or we are contributing to. The audit charge is going down. Part of that is we are switching the auditors. Administrative expenses, that is MRB. And this year we're looking to spend close to 40,000, and next year we're budgeting 42, which is reasonable. The two law firms, they have not they really have not submitted any bills as of yet. And these two law firms, this deals specifically with work they do for us. If anything is project related, it will be charged against the project rather than directly against us. Let's see, contract services director, we kept the 130,000 in there at this time.
John, I have a question. I'm so sorry.
Sure.
I was delayed reaction. The difference between, I was always unclear, so the difference between Harris Beach and Rick's firm as to what they support. Like, is there a distinct difference between? I've always just slightly wondered.
I'll let my attorney answer that.
It just depends on what the issue is. That might not be related to a particular billable, project.
So you both work on projects, but Justin's technically our transaction counsel and Rick's our general counsel.
Okay.
Justin will assist on general counsel activities as needed, just as Rick certainly works on, all of our client projects as well.
Okay.
Where was I? Rent, parking and utilities, we budgeted 25,200 for that for 2026. The remainder are small office supply, postage, copying and the like. Software's gone up slightly. We've added backup accounting to that, so that's increased the price for software. D&O insurance, is same as last year, and we absolutely need that.
Mhm.
Other costs, so you'll see a number. The good news is for 2025, we've not incurred any, what we would call any other costs. These are costs that we could not otherwise park in some other line item. We did budget 150. We've spent none of it. For next year, we are budgeting 100,000. It's for miscellaneous things
More of
that
a
might come up.
contingency.
Correct. A contingency type of planning. And the hope there again is not to spend any of that. Travel, these are meetings, these are conferences that Mike occasionally attends. And we need to, for you, change the travel. It says 3,000, it's really 2,000. It's gonna be 2,000. Aurelius Park is nothing. They've taken that over. So as far as taxes and anything else like that, CMI is now responsible for all of that. And then the last page goes into total expenses. And you'll note fairly good news from we are projecting to have total expenses this year of actual 352, and we're budgeting 352. So the good news is expenses are not going up, and if they are, it's very minimal. So once you get the expenses and the income together, we are projecting for next year 4.9 million in revenue. That's it.
Oh,
That's the
net-
budget.
Net income.
Net income, I'm sorry, net income, yes.
So that's a healthy.
Bravo.
Yes, that's a good problem to have. So I will entertain questions, or I
I
will
move with budget.
I have a motion to accept. Is there a second? I have a second. All right, a discussion, anybody wants to add, subtract? Anybody? No?
Well done.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Michael, carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Mike, director.
Okay, so everybody has my written report, but as usual, I have my walk-on updates for you. I'll start with project administration. For our Sunny Solar projects, we have
Oh, what page is it on, Mike? Oh, I got it, 26.
Yes, I'm reading from my walk-on report that doesn't have
Yeah.
everything in there, so. From project updates, our two solar projects, we have formally engaged with Volkey Brill, the labor monitoring firm. We've met with them a couple of times, and they're actually involved with them right now. It's my anticipation that at next meeting, we'll actually get a report from that firm on how they're doing in terms of committing to local labor as committed for that project. I am happy to say that we have closed on the sale of land to Cayuga Milk as well as the Dunkervik pilot. As I said earlier in our conversation, I haven't checked the bank account this afternoon to see whether or not those monies have hit, but it is certainly going to happen this week. My thanks to Rick and Justin and team to get all of that wrapped up, because that was quite an uphill battle to get through all those. Steve. And Steve as well. Thanks, Steve. Getting through all of that. As we also went through earlier today, we've worked with New York US LE, that's the solar project firm operating out of Sterling, and getting that done. Thanks again to Ms. Marshall for attending this morning. We did also begin discussions with them for labor monitoring services. They will also be paying a mitigation fee for instructions on that project as well.
So our firm is going to monitor their labor
Yes.
situation.
Yes. So the company is going to be paying for that.
Yes.
So that should be
That's
all.
how we set it up when we agreed to
Right,
do
it
it.
should be almost no cost to us. Couple of other items here. I did a site visit over to the Cancer Center per our pilot agreement, as we do an annual site visit for them. I had a tour provided by Jason Lesh. Beautiful building. obviously met the staffing requirements as they had in there. I will send over the full report I conducted while I was there. But based on my review in terms of what their pilot application said and what I observed personally, in addition to my discussion with Jason, who's the hospital CFO, checked all the boxes there. And they certainly have larger scale projects going on as well. And I'm very certain that the IDA will be a part of those conversations as those develop. And here's the big one, moving over to the sewer project once more here.
I thought we were done with that.
Yeah, I never want to hear that again.
Well,
Are you just stringing this along?
I'm sorry. Well, we've got two updates. We're very close on getting the ESD grant wrapped up. I was just on the phone with our project manager there. He said we've met all the paperwork requirements. He just needed a couple of items, so we'll hopefully get those monies. I got my fingers crossed by the next meeting. The bigger issue we have right now is with the EDA grant, with the federal government shut down. This entire reimbursement is on pause.
Jeez.
So I don't know
Stupid.
when to expect anything on that.
How
Out
much
of-
is that, Mike?
That's gonna be about 73,000. The bulk of grant money is expected through end of year is gonna be from the EDA. So thankfully, they're not impacted by this, but from the ED or ESD, the federal grant, that's where we're having issues. Our direct project manager through the EDA is furloughed. So we will see when whenever the government reopens that we get an updated
But
timeline.
that's a smaller amount.
It is a smaller amount, but that being said, it's owed to the IDA, so I want to see those monies come in.
Certainly.
Moving on, stakeholder engagement, as always, I'm meeting with our economic partners, which includes Bob, on a bi-weekly basis. We did meet with Chairman Anna and other economic leaders to discuss the proposed economic budget for 2026. I had mentioned what some of those deliverables were at the last meeting. A big portion of that is actually to support the SBDC. So it's not coming out of the IDA, it's a request to the county because they're really serving the county. Moving on from that, as you may know, I'm part of the Regional Economic Development Council, which has been very good in terms of our stakeholder engagement with the broader region and other large businesses. We had a large public and private session over at OCC and have had several smaller meetings over the last couple of weeks here and a couple of more projected through end of year. At next month's meeting, I'll actually have a pretty large update on some of the work we've been doing as part of that council there. Some of the other items I've been a part of, the Cayuga county's countywide strategic plan. We've continued to move that forward. I did send out to the board. We have the second survey out, and this is all about quality of life. If you have a chance to go through that. We also had a kickoff meeting for the countywide brownfield opportunity assessment, which is a BOA, a BOA. That kicked off this week. I'm a part of the advisory panel. County planning has hired an external firm. They're going to, over the next year here, look at sites across the entire county to assess brownfield areas for cleanup, redevelopment, and certainly that will be a great opportunity for IDA to participate in that. I myself was part of the economic panel for Leadership Cayuga, along with the tourism office, Jenny Haynes and Cornell Co-op with Dan Welch. As said earlier, I attended the nuclear summit up in Syracuse, and we had state representatives from the governor's office, as well as some large scale developers speaking to the impact nuclear is going to have on our energy infrastructure going into the future. So if you know, Lots of renewable stuff going on, but within nuclear, you can get much greater power generation, and there's all sorts of new advancements and the ability to get power, not just from large stacks that we kind of think of, but very small modular reactors or micro reactors as well. So still some time off from that, but there is a tremendous amount of interest and investment going in there. Building on top of that, and I sent this earlier today, Senator Nozzolio is organizing an energy summit. This is going to be held at Hobart and William Smith College on the 1st of December. I sent out the invite earlier today. You're all welcome to attend that. I think that's going to be a great meeting. A lot of the focus there is going to be addressing what the energy constraints and issues are facing our surrounding counties and how we can lobby or at least address these issues.
Did you say that was December 1st?
Yes, yes. Lastly, from an operational perspective, office space has been the big item here. We've got the keys, we've got the lease agreements sent. I had NYSEG turn on the power last week, had Spectrum install the internet last week. I have a meeting with Xerox tomorrow. I was hoping they would have a proposal for you today of various options there. I reached out to the county for getting furniture, specifically our county operations manager. If not, I can certainly inquire to the college on that item. But that's moving along without issue there. We did have our kickoff meeting with the auditors in advance of starting the 2025 planning audit. No issues there. A lot of it is just getting familiar with who they are and submitting initial information. With the acceptance of this budget, thank you. I will have this entered into our state reporting system, which is due by the end of the month. And obviously, we're in the midst of our fall pilot billing schedule here. Grace spoke to those updates earlier. We have almost everything in, and the monies we have received are actually going out the door tomorrow. So no issue there. And it's all coming out of our separate pilot checking as we set up earlier this year. So I'll pause here to answer any questions.
That was a lot of information.
I know, I'm sorry. I actually skipped it.
I did want the stakeholder partner engagement.
Yeah.
All of the others quite interesting. You did provide, information that I'm quite, content by. But I wanted to ask Mr. Griffin just a bit more about the commitment for Cayuga County as a whole and how they're contributing to this, to his agencies. He's coming to us for 25.
He's not. So I wanted to clarify that earlier. What I had asked Bob and the board at large, if you recall from much earlier this year, when we agreed to support their firm in part vis-a-vis the 12.5, is come back later this year and report on your activities and updates, because we do have a contractual obligation right now. So true to his word, he said October would be the ideal time to do that, because that's how our fiscal year or our reporting year typically falls. As said earlier, part of the new chair's budget, he had requested of myself and some of our other economic partners was, if we set aside a certain amount of money, where should those funds be spent? And our number one priority was the SBDC, because no other firm is doing small business services. And obviously myself and my peers all say the work they're doing for that amount of money is, you're getting a huge return. So spend money there.
So what are the other agencies providing him? The 25 is, I'm still not connecting, I'm sorry.
So
Getting the damn tired.
right, so how they were able to fund services through this year was half of it was provided through the county IDA, the other half was through the city of Auburn.
Okay, all right. Do we anticipate probably that is going to be the same, because we can't go to the county, like the
His first ask was to the county, but because there was a change in leadership
Right.
around this time and then going into the very early part of last year, it was decided the IDA would pick that up with the understanding that the county would reimburse us for those funds. That hasn't happened yet.
Okay, well, that's reassuring to know it's not just us putting in all the money towards, this. And
But-
quite honestly, I see the benefits in it. He did highlight the local businesses, which is great. But we are not the only economic development agency that is out there, and we're trying to do this big partnership. It's always great to see that the others are all so willing to, have some skin in the game, right?
But you're saying next year the county's paying the whole shot?
That's what we're
Maybe.
encouraging the county to do is,
They haven't adopted a budget yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
that's,
I mean, his presentation today was much better than it was last year. Last year's was lousy because all he did was talk about statistics like a bureaucrat, but not about what he actually did, what they're doing for the individual companies.
And-
He kind of is getting closer to doing that today, he got closer today.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's good to hear. And also to the highlights of local businesses, it's great to mention, I don't know who's serving how many counties, but asking, well, my responsibility here is to, what are our benefits? What are the benefits to us and our local, the residents here? This
But-
local.
But per his slides, I think the benefits are huge.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's a general thing, and I just need to know specific to local, what what really is the commitment from the agencies, and you've shared that, so it's good. And it's all about economic development. This is how it's going to benefit us all, so that's great. I appreciate you clarifying that and providing the additional information.
sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Michael, your discussion on the brownfield thing that you had a meeting this week on.
Mhm.
The county planning director was here at our meeting last month,
Mhm.
and I went out and talked with her afterwards because she mentioned the brownfield thing. I always was interested in us trying to do something with the GE building. And I asked her what she knew about the brownfield situation, and she called me back up and told me that she was right into that. She thought there was funds available, plus there was a way to possibly get General Electric to consider selling that to us. She had some way of dealing with them to hold
They're
them.
doing a huge remediation there now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, somebody had talked with, back when Eileen O'Connor was in charge of that for the county, and she thought that was very close to being ready to be able to be used. But anyway, when she called back, I told her I was really interested in her working on it, and she said she would contact you
Mhm.
and work with you on that, with the idea that maybe we would look at that facility sometime in the near.
Yes.
And she was
It's a great property.
she was extremely interested in doing that and was right into I think that's very positive.
Mhm. And she did reach out, and as I have updates, I'll be able to share.
Yes, just one last thing, I'm sorry. The Wells College,
Yes.
any additional color you want to add to that one?
So, still having conversations with potential investors around this. It remains in a standstill phase. To my understanding, at least one of the lead candidates is bowing out at this point. It's not for me to say whether or not that's a good thing. But there does not seem to be a definitive point of end on this right now. I'm very hopeful for at least one of the investors I've spoken with is able to advance. In all conversations I've had with potential investors, they are all very much interested in partnering with the IDA.
Okay. Very good, thank you, that's it.
Thank you. That was the office space update also.
That was the long and short of it on
Sure.
the office space.
Unfinished business, board committee and offices nominations.
This was supposed to be, and my apologies, supposed to be on last month's agenda as part of the governance committee update. What the committee had wanted to do from prior years is rather than waiting until December to have those discussions ahead of the meeting is to start having those conversations now. So this is more of a note for the governance committee. I will make a note though, our three principal officers, all of your terms are up this year. So that includes Chairman Lockwood, Vice Chair Ryan Flesh, and Treasury Secretary Lant Nischen. So what has been going through my mind is you can have your annual meeting in December or January. So I don't know what's going on with county leadership, what's going to happen with board appointments or anything. But just putting it out there as a thought that perhaps you postpone your annual meeting from December to January. That's certainly subject to whatever the board wants to do, depending on when you want to do it.
Should that committee not meet and make their recommendations both for officers and for appointments?
Yes.
Before that time?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we would
I
need
don't
to
mind the annual meeting being whenever you think, but I think.
That's up to the committee, and that committee is Andy, Gina, and Donna.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think you should.
yeah, let's figure a meeting half hour before the November IDA meeting.
You don't have to formalize it. I can formalize it if you would like.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Well, I mean, Gina's not here, we can try, you know.
I'll send a follow-up
Yeah,
note tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
great idea, thank you.
Yeah, and then if she can't, then we can schedule something
Yes,
else.
exactly, if you can't meet before the meeting, then, yeah.
Mike, we have an MRB proposal.
But the annual meeting, why change it from December? I mean, what's the difference? The
The-
county's not gonna know anything for a couple years,
If that,
At least,
right?
The thought I had,
the
with
committee
that,
assignments.
Yeah,
it's with the committee assignments and there was such upheaval last year. That was part of the reason the IDA picked up funding SBDC, because he wasn't able to get any conversations through because he was getting a lot of crosstalk of you need to talk to this person until a chair finally came in place. So at our annual meeting in December of last year, in order to ensure continuity of services, the IDA picked up and said, we'll support it here.
But I would hope they're gonna have a budget.
Oh, certainly a budget, but
you mean the
for,
county?
He's,
Yeah.
Oh, by
Mike's
law,
more,
they have
Mike's
to.
more concerned about the committee
the
assignments.
committee assignment is the
that's
important
more
thing.
of my
Yeah,
concern.
because they do appoint the board members, I mean,
Yeah.
they make our suggestion, but they have to formalize it,
They do.
yeah,
And.
Right.
Whether
That's-
they, whether
that's-
they
so you're
listen to us
saying-
or not, we should have our recommendations
Yeah.
to them in time so that if they choose to do that before the first of the year, they have done that, and if they choose not to do it until they go through their.
I would think because none of them are up for election,
Yeah.
there should be
I-
continuity on that.
I think there's a chance that they would do it
Prior.
before the first of the
Well, I
year.
do it after.
So
Yeah,
which
it-
is easier, Mike? You're saying after the first of the year?
What was your question? John?
That's.
Which is easier?
That's what I'm suggesting, but it's completely up to this board. If you want to have it in December, that's fine.
my question is, what is the standard, what is the norm, instead of always trying to be disruptive and.
We've always had,
What
we've
is
always
the-
had it in December.
And the legislators, when do the legislators make the committee
It could
appointment?
be
They
February.
do it either time, they either do it before the current group is out or after the new, they do it both ways.
I've seen them in the
There's
February.
no
meeting.
there's no set thing on it.
Well, what if there's not a set?
The first meeting is right close to the 1st of January,
Uh-huh,
and that's a ceremonial.
right,
And a lot of times the appointments are made at the formal real meeting. When is it, the last?
Last
whatever.
week of January.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
So let's do it in January. whatever you guys think.
Oh.
We're gonna be closer to that
Let's-
being
Let's
said.
Andy and that
Right,
committee
right.
have,
Yeah.
let's Andy and have
Yeah.
that committee have their meeting Wednesday and see how that comes out. And then we'll decide when is the time-wise, when is the best time to do it.
Okay.
All right, we have an MRB proposal, Mike?
You do, and this is.
Oh, I thought that was part of your budget, Jeff.
It is part of the budget. Yeah, so
Sorry, Jeff.
So the 42 was the proposal, okay,
That's it. It's
That's-
otherwise the exact
We're
same
fine.
level of services
Yeah.
that they've been providing.
they've done a good job, very good
And-
job.
And there's almost no increase in.
Right.
Well, if you look at their proposal, they're giving you the rates now, but they say they haven't computed 2026 rates. If you look at their proposal, they're not giving you.
They won't change it, they better not change it,
Tell me what it says.
It's up to
but
us.
that's why I haven't
If
turned.
they change it, it's up to us to vote.
No, you're signing
Say,
it.
hey, take the
No,
road.
no,
Where are
you're,
you seeing that?
What our budget number is, that's what we're paying for next year.
Yep.
If
They
they want to do
accepted or not.
something the following year, they need to do
That's
it
different.
before that time frame.
Well, we should put that in the agreement then.
Yeah, Rick, where are you
What
seeing
is-
it?
yeah.
At the end?
on page 42 of the packet. It's
Okay.
on,
And what's the,
well, it says, sorry.
Yeah, what do you-
I'm gonna use my phone, okay. Director time, $275 an hour.
Yep.
Deputy
Deputy.
director, senior analyst time, $198 an hour.
In the wrong.
Analyst time, $157 an hour.
You and I are in the
And then
wrong
it says,
place.
note that the above are 2025 hourly rates and are subject to adjustment for 2026.
We could do that for half the price.
Wow, 157 an hour.
If I'm not
What
sleeping.
the heck?
It's all more than me.
He's being
Oh,
over here.
John.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you
Wow.
let me do that?
What in the world?
That's embarrassing.
Wow.
I didn't
What
know.
is, Kirby,
I mean, I would just, I mean.
the water authority, what are you paying for the same services?
A third that.
So what is your recommendation based upon the way that it's worded? We definitely don't want.
Oh, you could authorize Mike to cross out that when he signs it. Note
Right.
that the above, I mean, those are the rates. I mean,
Right.
it's mid-October. I mean,
So.
you gotta know, if you're asking for a
Exactly,
contract for next year, you gotta have your rates down.
that's right. And
So-
this is our
Okay,
budget.
no, you're
so
right, you're right,
I
Rick.
agree with that.
We should,
Yeah.
see where
Right
it's
through
coming.
is the sentence I read, note that the above are 2025
Yeah.
hourly rates and are subject to adjust. This
Yeah.
authorize that as amended.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
you're
trying
right.
to say their whatever their budgeted number is not accurate for next year?
It's not that.
They're
Your
proposing
budget's got nothing to do with your contract,
Right.
potential contract with
Yes,
them.
it does.
No, it's
That's the
in your
limit.
mind.
It's- That's the limit of the amount.
No, it
we
doesn't.
for us, not
Budget's
for
just a
them.
budget.
Yeah, not for them, it's
Yeah.
for us. So yes, good catch, Rick. I would
I would
make
the budget.
no. If they gotta
So,
charge us more, they're just gonna charge us more.
Exactly. So
Alright.
we are gonna do that as
Yeah.
as suggested.
Okay.
That we also-
Yeah, let's,
If we
Yeah,
need to have a
surprise.
discussion
Exactly.
with them, we need to have
Yeah.
a discussion with them because the
And-
services they do are absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But is there
Yeah,
a motion to accept the proposal
And if they're
contingent on?
Yes.
Have
yes.
here by video.
Be dependent on
If they
what.
charge them, I don't know if they charge mine.
Contingent on the revision of language.
I know, you're right,
So
though.
we wanna strike this for,
I'm sorry, I thought that was combined with the budget. All right, is there a motion to approve MRB's
we wanna
contract?
strike this note.
As a, go ahead.
It's amended
Before he
as
makes
based
motion,
upon the
let's-
conversation that,
what
you know,
we're doing.
our legal
See
is
that note?
provided
Yeah.
striking the note.
25 hourly rates are subject to
We'll-
adjustment.
No,
So they're saying,
We-
we gave you
We're
the,
gonna approve it minus item
that-
number 3.
the note, minus the note. We don't want the note.
Yeah, make your.
They're giving us
We're
42,
approving it minus the note.
Yes,
correct.
yes, I'm making.
Amending it to strike out the no.
Thank you.
We're approving it with the note struck out.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lord, yes,
Okay,
Got it.
Be wrong.
okay,
That's
Donna,
my motion.
yeah.
repeat your motion then, dear.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the proposal with the amendment to strike through that note that above the 25 hourly rate subject to adjustment. So yeah, yes, that's it.
That's fine.
Is there a
A
second?
second,
Motion made, and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I think maybe next year we should start looking for lower cost approach.
Okay,
To MRB?
The rates are high. I mean, at the water authority, we're getting the same service. For a third. of
Who's
the
doing
price.
this? The water authority?
What's the accounting firm? You know,
I can't remember. I can't remember.
they just sold out. They were on,
It's a local.
yeah, they were on where up from the cancer center.
Oh, hold on, I think I have the name.
Stan,
No, I think I have the name.
At a hospital?
yeah,
Yes, it's,
past there, but on the other side of the road.
Oh,
it's.
what do you call it? Danimal McKee?
Yes,
oh,
How could?
Is that?
yeah,
Danimal-
I don't think they do these services.
no, and then
No,
the Paris stuff they're doing in-house.
Wait a minute, Danimal McKee does the books
I
for
think,
the
right?
water authority?
That can't be right.
We could
The
check.
water authority is a different situation than here because we have our own personnel that do, but they did the professional stuff for us at a very, very, very reasonable rate.
But they're not doing
Oh, not the one on
the
Corporate Drive,
bookkeeping.
but
They're
the
not
one on
doing
North
that.
Street.
They're
Okay.
doing,
Sorry.
No, they're not doing the bookkeeping per se.
That's
We
done
got it
in-house, if
in-house.
that's what you're asking.
right,
back
okay,
to the original motion.
all right.
Okay,
I mean.
all in
yeah.
favor,
I,
opposed. So next year when this comes up, we
Well,
can,
even before.
We should
guys
wait
gotta
till
start
it's up
reviewing.
next year. We should have a discussion with them whenever it's
Yeah,
appropriate
yeah,
time with the right
Right.
people
By the
involved.
time it comes up next year, we should have explored about.
So by July,
Yeah.
July or June.
That's
June
expensive.
or halfway through the year, we should.
Okay,
Because we don't want to get to the end of the year and not know what we're doing.
okay, all right, well,
Good idea.
is there anything else?
Once in a while.
But I have two things.
Oh, jeez.
That's your attorney.
So to heck with him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Herb.
I would like us to consider the two people that presented the proposal last month to have us participate in paying for the housing study for the county. I'm not sure that we want to give them $30,000, but I think we should do something for them to show that we're working with them on that project. And
I thought the discussion was that they were seeking, that they didn't have a specific amount that they were
Right.
seeking.
No,
other
that's-
than-
I brought they were short $30,000.
Right, but they were still seeking.
They were seeking any amount, and they were seeking an amount that showed that we were anxious and willing to participate in them so that the county had some input. But I'd like that on the agenda for next month so we can,
Do you have a number in mind?
I know, but that's.
my number would be half that.
Mike, you've been in
What-
discussion.
what really tells you where the other half's coming.
Yeah, my recommendation is, I certainly think the IDA should support it, but because so much of their funding is contingent on the acquisition of a grant they're applying for, is wait for them to get that grant,
Exactly.
come back to the IDA with a specific ask, and then let the board decide.
I
this is how
don't
we're
mind
going
not
to
giving
commit.
them
And
any
maybe
money
giving a
until
board
the
member or
grant
you a
is
second
there.
there.
But I
Leave
think
the
we
door
should have
open.
this discussion with them so that they know that we're willing to participate in it.
Yeah.
Okay, the second thing,
Wait a minute, Donna's got.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you wanna finish?
Well, I have an appointment in the Senate at 6 o'clock.
Oh, my.
At a,
What kind of trouble you stirring up there?
oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Are you invited or are you just breaking?
I'm not invited, but I'm going. There's no question about that.
You might wanna follow
Oh, this-
I'm not sure
Let
you
me
want to
dial
go. Are
911
you going?
now.
Herb,
Go with him.
your second?
My son's home for.
My second thing,
I'll break.
Elaine Daly asked me if we would consider
Okay.
using for the,
fire.
no,
EMS.
EMS. Two of the rooms at the car building if we're not using it. And that they would vacate them at any time if
EMS,
we were
emergency.
going. And I
Oh,
got a hold of Mike and talked to Mike about it, and he wanted kind of specifics of what they wanted to do. And I would like Mike to come up with what answers he would want by our next meeting,
Wow.
and I
Well-
will try to.
Donna,
Shouldn't it be that Elaine comes here and present to us and make her formal request
I-
though, versus having it go through
I
you?
did it, I did it through Mike, and he talked to her, and he had my first.
I know, but as a board member, I'd be very interested in kind of hearing from her as to what she's proposing. You know, I certainly appreciate, you know, that she went to you and had this conversation and you've spoken to Michael, but I'd like to know about these as it is going to be a board decision as to, you know, how we respond and react to the
It
request.
certainly is a board decision.
Yeah.
But
Could
Well,
that
yeah.
be, is that possible to have her come? I don't, you know.
that's what you want.
Yeah, we want to support when necessary, because it's the basis of the
We'll
agency.
support it if they pay their share.
Right, precisely.
I'm not subsidizing the county.
Yeah, because the legislative chair sat here and said he was not able, Mr. Marshall, he was not able to commit any sort of funds to the car building rental. Mr. Anna did say that, and now the legislators are asking us to support them by having people come into the building. They've not put anything into it, and they're asking for something, so I just think it would be, you know,
So
the appropriate process.
We can ask for Elaine to be
Yeah,
here.
come in and have a
Let's do it.
conversation
Can we
with
do
her.
this?
Yeah.
I'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Is she the one? Is she the one? No.
I don't know if she's the one that made the request.
Jonathan,
he's the one
What?
that made the proposal, not Jonas.
Okay.
I know.
Well, we're speaking on behalf of the county, you would like them to be
Yes.
present, you have a presentation.
That's the extent of that, so we can hear.
Put in your
But
second.
be
remind
Bob.
us about what the chairman said.
Yeah.
Oh,
Forgot.
yes, he sat there and said no money,
Yeah, and then
and now they want,
2 months later, they're looking for space.
Oh.
exactly, that's
They're
right,
gonna have to pay their share to rent. That's-
right, right.
If we
You know what?
decide
I'm
to.
gonna show up at that
Exactly.
meeting.
Come.
It's our
if I
decision
would-
not to.
John, I would love to.
Yeah,
I've won.
Hey, you going to send it for the IDA, what are you going to send it for?
No, he's not going for the
Water.
idea.
well.
Just bring it, I mean,
Water and sewer,
He's
That's
not
good.
going for the idea.
the water.
I don't know why he's going there, but he's not going for us.
Yeah.
This
Is there anything else come before the board then?
Motion to
I wanted to-
adjourn.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry.
I wanted to say, going back to, I know I can though, going back to, Gary Twilliger and that whole thing asking for the money, I would support it, but I agree. Your recollection of it is the same as mine, which is she said they needed to get more information and then have an amount before we decide, and so I want
They were
that.
still looking for donuts.
Exactly, so once that
Well,
part of it
it's
is sorted out, you
information.
can come back.
Mhm.
So we can then, that's my recollection, not to just offer money.
Motion on the floor to adjourn then?
I do, I moved to
Yes.
adjourn
Second.
All in
5
favor?
minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.